As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need?
I grew up in a small town in Indiana, and when we went to church there, if you made a noise, you got smacked.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, very true.
But here you open up and you do Man in the Mirror. And I'm going, is that how you grew up with songs like that in your church?
Well, actually, very similar. I grew up in a Catholic church, but the pianist at my church, she didn't want to be traditional because traditionally Catholic music can be, very boring and such, right? But the pianist at my church, she said, we're not about to do that. I want you guys to go out and buy Sister Act 2, and the next Wednesday at Sunday at rehearsal for next Sunday, I want us to do those songs. So we were all about getting fun music mixed in with gospel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And where'd you grow up? Where'd you come from?
I grew up in South Texas, and I don't come from a religious background, but I've always been a singer. And I always tell people that when I sing, that's always I've never really done gospel music, but as soon as I started, I was like immediately connected because for me, I've always been a very soulful singer.
Does it feel like Broadway to you almost?
Sure, it does a little bit. It feels actually bigger to me than Broadway. It depends. I mean, Broadway is so many different styles and genres. It's not just one specific. And people think like, oh, Broadway is this one way, but it's not.
Your story is real inspiring to me. I saw a YouTube video of you, where was it? It was Bryant Park or something like that,
Yeah.
where you were doing the thing with...
Rock of Ages?
Yeah, and it was really cool. You guys were just on stage. But you got discovered because you were the understudy and just happened to be in the show?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it was my first performance.
Is that amazing or what?
Destiny.
No, I mean it felt like fate. I mean it felt like, it was just so surreal to me that something like that could happen to me. And what's funny is, I didn't even realize it until like we'd started shooting the film. Todd was like, I was like, what day? Because the director was there in the audience that day, my first performance. And I was like,
yeah.
What day did you see me do it? He's like, oh, he had it somewhere in his book. Like the date was April, and I was like, that was my very first performance on Broadway. Wow. And he's like,
what's the biggest difference between stage and shooting a movie?
there's a big difference, but at the end of the day, it's acting.
Right.
It's all the differences are technical.
Right.
They're not. I'm not gonna change like how I approach a character or what they're feeling.
Right.
It's gonna be the same. It's just like I gotta be a little quieter with it,
How
or I
big you
gotta
emote or don't
keep it
emote,
down,
maybe?
or I can't move around. I have to stay in this exact spot because the camera's right there in my
Exactly.
face. Whereas in real life or on stage, you could be moving around and be absolutely fine.
Lastly, what are people that are going to see this movie? What are they going to take? What can they expect from this movie?
Well, hopefully they'll take that during hard times, no matter how small of a chance it looks like that things are going to get better. When you have faith that, something's going to come out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's when you really get through, and that's what this movie represents. This town is going through such a hardship. People are losing their jobs. Shops are closing down, but they believe that at the end of the day, there's a bigger message, and they're going to go for something higher, like this choir competition to uplift their community. And great things come out of it.
Good movie, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Maybe